Digital Devil Story, Megami Tensei.
You thought the original monster collector would be Pokemon, but it was actually Megami Tensei.
Megami Tensei 2.
The only game in the history of games where feeding your arm to a wall and capturing a frog to fuse with Beelzebub are not only sentences that can be said, but are required for the true ending.
Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh sure, when he responds to spam emails, he gets to interact with demons and rebuild the world. But when I do it...
Shin Megami Tensei 2.
Arguably the best NES entry that actually makes a law alignment not suck.
Shin Megami Tensei F.
Persona before Persona.
Revelations, Persona.
The bad Persona game.
Persona 2, Innocent Sin.
The Persona game people try to convince you that it's good.
Persona 2, Eternal Punishment.
Innocent Sin minus the Nazis, and this time it's about adults being adults.
Shin Megami Tensei 9.
This entry is such an oddity in an already odd series that I'm struggling to summarize it in a comedic way.
Shin Megami Tensei 3, Nothing.
The SMT game everyone tells you to start with, as well as being the origin of this meme.
Persona 3.
You know, if this was a real gun, you would have saved yourself about 80 hours.
Shin Megami Tensei, Imagine.
The obligatory MMO that died before the series got popular in the West, annoying said player base because they didn't get to try it.
Persona 3 Fest.
Added story content so hated they left it to die on older consoles.
Persona 4.
Oh boy, I sure do love talking about certain characters in current year. Nobody ever accidentally and or deliberately misconstrues them. Boy, I sure do love talking about Persona 4 in current year. Ha 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 ha.
Shin Megami Tensei, Strange Journey.
Every true fan's favorite mainline game.
Persona 3 Portable.
The fact that the visual novel version got ported over to Steam over Fest will never not be funny to me.
Persona 4 Arena.
A Persona game where the story is ironically one of the weaker aspects.
Persona 4 Golden.
One of the very few reasons to own a Vita back in the day, as well as the reason Atlas ports their games to PC.
Shin Megami Tensei 4.
The SMT game you should actually start with, especially if you like Critical Role.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
The sequel that improves on everything, yet the story is still kind of lacking.
Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth.
This game is being carried by the novelty and soundtrack.
Persona 4, Dancing All Night.
Another one of the very few reasons to own a Vita back in the day, except this one didn't get a PC port.
Shin Megami Tensei 4, Apocalypse.
And to think, this is the game where killing God is canon.
Persona 5.
For those wondering how Persona 5 fans get such a bad rap, you gotta understand the pre-port days were not a fun time.
Strange Journey Redux.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Shin Megami Tensei, Liberation DX2.
Obligatory gotcha entry, but what surprises me is that it's still ongoing.
Persona 3, Dancing in Moonlight, and Persona 5, Dancing in Starlight.
Hey, do you want to play Persona 4 Dancing while not owning a Vita? Well, you just gotta buy these two shittier games in a specific bundle. Hope you didn't buy them separate, because if you do, you can go fuck yourself.
Persona Q2, New Cinema Labyrinth.
Well, the dialogue is more than a handful of jokes over and over again, but the downside is that it doesn't fucking end.
Persona 5 Royal.
No is no. Okay, listen, alright? You had to be there, but if you were, we know.
Persona 5 Strikers.
The best Persona 5 spin-off, despite it actually being a sequel.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
You know, looking back on the numbered entries, there really are more similarities than people realize.
Persona 5 Tactica.
Depending on what you're looking for, you're either better off playing Persona 5 Strikers or Mario & Rabbids.
Persona 3 Reload.
Almost 20 years after the release of the original, and it still isn't considered the definitive version.
Persona 5 The Phantom X.
I was originally going to post the Let Me In clip and call it a day, but they announced the global release as I was working on this.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance.
Shin Megami Tensei getting the same love as Persona, and it feels so good.